Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest today is Jennifer Dixon, and she is an ex-energy tracer and developer turned full-time yogi with a yoga studio located in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and an online yoga-inspired fitness membership group. She used her business experience to help breathe new life into an existing yoga studio about 6 months after being laid off from her energy development position just 2 weeks after returning from maternity leave with her first child. Now, that happens a lot, actually. It's been nearly 4 years since going into entrepreneurialism full time. And even though it's never easy, the decision to say screw the 9 to 5 has never been something she's regretted.
That's
I
right.
love that. Love that. So my guest today, Jennifer Dixon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jim.
And I usually ask this question first, but you kind of answered it. So we'll go there anyway and see if we can dig out anything new.
Sure.
What lit that fire for you to help you to become an entrepreneur and screw the 9 to 5?
So I guess I had the rug ripped out from under me. I had the American dream job, working more than 9 to 5. I was working, 60, 80 hours a week. And I got laid off right after having my first child. And I spent 6 months enjoying being at home with the baby. And I, of course, was trying all the other, I only knew working for somebody else. I only knew how to make a paycheck. And after several months and realizing, we didn't need to have that paycheck. We could maybe play with something that we want to do, not that we have to do. I got the thumbs up from my husband. He was like, sure, honey, why don't you do it? I found this existing yoga studio that the owner, had gotten burned out, was, just ready to stop. And I was like, I like yoga. I like to teach yoga. I used to teach on the side just because I loved it. And so I took the plunge. And I took over a studio, and that was, it'll be 4 years in May of 2020.
Wow. I'm getting that echo again.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on there. And it'll be all right. I'm not going to edit it out. So we're
okay.
Good.
Okay.
I don't care. Anyway, so my second question generally, and you had got this question in the email. So what, if anything, what held you back, either internal or external limiting beliefs, whatever it would be that actually held you back on your entrepreneurial journeys thus far?
I was married to the idea of a certain amount of money that I needed every single month. And I thought there's no way that I could live without the safety and security of this paycheck, the health insurance, that 401k, automatic, savings account. And so I had tiptoed with other things on the side, side hustles or whatever. My husband and I flipped houses. I had another couple of side businesses, but I always had the security of a paycheck. And it wasn't until that was ripped out, like that Band-Aid just got ripped the mess off. And I realized, we can be creative. We don't have to do, we don't have to have that same standard of living to be okay. And once that became a truth, once that became a new truth, I was like, screw it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to do it.
That's good. I think it was always in you. I don't know. I ask that question a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs. And it just seems like, there's always been something in them that said, hey, you're called to something greater, or there's something in you that says, I can't conform to all these other things. So I don't know if that's you, but that seems to be a lot of the people that I interview.
It's true. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So, and I love it. It's actually a family of strong female entrepreneurs too, which is crazy if you think about it from a multiple generations back perspective. So I love that kind of family lineage.
That's good. That's good. So, did you touch on the struggles yet? I was not sure if we got interrupted on that or not.
Sure. So the struggles to become a full-time entrepreneur, or the struggles of being a full-time entrepreneur?
Well, that and like I said, any limiting beliefs or the things that kind of held you back.
So my limiting belief was I couldn't live without insurance and the paychecks. And that's the biggest thing that held me back from doing it. And then like the daily struggles of being an entrepreneur, there's still that stress of, you eat what you kill when you're an entrepreneur. And for all of you vegans out there, I guess you eat what you grow and
pluck out of the ground.
And pluck out of the ground. But but and that's a pretty, especially now I have 2 kids, with that kind of knowledge. I have to take care of these kids. I have to have school for them and provide for them. That makes it a little scary going day to day. But on the flip side of it, when I'm working all sorts of crazy hours, I love what I'm doing, and so it makes it worth it.
Makes it worth it. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if you work for yourself, number one, it's a very hard thing because you work so many hours. People don't realize how hard this is.
It's true.
I think it's a good thing to put out there, though, because if somebody's out there and they think, oh, that looks, they just make YouTube videos, that's easy, or do this, there is so much to it that you don't realize.
You're 100% right. Yeah, it took me, like we talked about a little bit before recording, it took me about a year to figure out, how to tread water. Owning the business was already in place, but anytime you transition ownership and things like that, there's transition, and that's not necessarily always smooth. And so that took me about a year. And then the next year was figuring out how to make things efficient. And then the third year was finally, okay, I can step away and pursue other things that are still entrepreneurial, but just not in that brick and mortar space.
That's good. I mean, because brick and mortar really it requires your attention all the time.
Oh yeah. And the thing about it is in this past year, since when I first took over the studio, at one point I was teaching 9 classes a week, plus the teacher trainings on the weekend. So I was just married to the studio. Yeah. And now I teach a couple of days a week. I love teaching. Don't get me wrong. I love teaching, but that's not using my best skills for the studio or for the online, is to be in the studio. I need to be doing things behind the scenes, like the marketing, like the online presence and all of that stuff. So by having the systems in place, which nobody talks about and nobody knows about, like having those systems in place, which took time to develop, has given me the freedom to do these other things, like develop an online program.
Let's dive into that a little deeper. What systems did you put in place? I mean, we are saying that people don't talk about that. And I agree. I really do, because I have systems that I use and that I do. What systems have you put in place, and maybe how have you done that, unless it's a secret sauce type?
Oh, no. So with a yoga studio, it's basically like a fitness center, right? And so it's not like a YMCA though, because I go to the Y as well. I go to the Y once a week because it includes childcare, so I can get a little work done.
There you go.
I love my YMCA, but it's different because you just swap a fob and nobody talks to you. In a brick and mortar studio, there's a bit of a premium there because you get that relationship. You are known. You get to know, like, and trust the people that you practice with, the people that your teachers. And so the systems that we built in, which make this Thrive, my studio, unique, it's very much focused on that personalization, that personal touch. So we don't do key fobs. We want to get to know your name. We want to get to know about your kids. If you're going to go on vacation, what's going on in your family, because people want those relationships, and we are communal, humans are. And so what sets a yoga studio apart, in my studio in particular, is we really pay attention to those personal touches. So you asked about a system oh my gosh, my earbuds are falling. I apologize. So one of the systems would be when a new client comes in, we had to get the software, a CRM, to kind of keep track of all of them. And then there are certain automations that come in place to welcome them. And it's automatic in terms that you get like a welcome email and text and things like that, but it all comes back to me. And so I respond personally, or one of my studio managers responds. And so then we have other systems in place, like you get a postcard and we check in on you and all of these things. It's all about maintaining that personal relationship, because that's what's going to keep you coming back. Because let's be honest, it's just like most people understand the gym analogy more than the yoga analogy, but like going to the gym and getting on a treadmill every day, some people are wired to do it, and God bless them, right? But most of the time it's like, God, I'm tired. Man, my kids didn't sleep. My husband had the flu, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go. And then missing one day becomes like 3 days. And then if you were at a Y, you would never hear anything. But at a smaller studio, you hear it. You hear from us. So we know that it is, oh, you haven't been here in 3 days, John or Susie, what's going on? How are you doing? Let you know we miss you, that sort of thing.
That's
but
really
then we can also celebrate successes.
I've got this massive echo coming through this thing again. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
That's okay. It's all right now. I just for a second there it's really bad. I don't know what's on my end or what. But that's good though, because I think you need to carry that into the online space as well, because we are communal beings. We do want community. We want to be a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I try to do that. I try very hard to keep up with the people that I'm talking to or have been on the show and that type of thing. It gets more difficult when you have a lot more people. So, obviously. Yeah. So you have to have a system in place.
Yeah. And while you're small, you do the things that can't scale. So right now, our online platform's pretty small. So everybody's going to get I call them, they're Bonjouros. Have you heard of those? Like the video emails. You can do it for free. You can do a paid one if you want, but it's free. You shoot a quick video on your phone and it's an email. So they get sent an email and then it's like, whoa, this person's saying hello to me. Wow, that's pretty cool. And things like that, just really personalizing all of the touches along the way, because the founding members, those first people that convert into the membership, that's what's going to keep them there. And then those are the people I believe that are going to become my biggest street preachers, like
fans.
My super fans, the Pat Flynn way of super fans.
Yep.
That, wow, she did all this, you're gonna love it. And so to me, especially at this beginning stage, it's really important to maintain that personalized touch.
That is awesome. What is the app or whatever that was you talked about?
It's called Bonjour. It's Bonjoro. And there's a free level. I just use the free level. So you're going to have the Bonjour logo at the bottom. You can pay like $20, $25 a month to have your logo, but that's not that important to me right now. And all you do is you put in their email. You can actually link it in your, one of the programs that connects different programs. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but I have it. And it'll automatically get fed from like your CRM into your Bonjour, and you get a notification like, hey, you need to send this person a video. And you can do it all from your phone. It's really great.
We're going to include that. If I can find it, I'm going to include that in the link in the description below. I think that's kind of cool too. Yeah, I think that's cool awesome as well. And that will help a lot of our listeners and the people that are in our group as well, because I think that's an awesome personalized touch. I just love that, to be honest.
Yeah, we do that with both the studio people and the online people, and you would both laugh and be amazed at how much that those little videos, because my husband helps me and we'll get on the couch late at night, and I mean, the cat sometimes jumps on the shoulder.
Oh yeah,
the dog's and we're like, hey, this is real life, but then they get to know you.
So what do you use for CRM?
So for the brick and mortar studio, I use a company called BrandBot, which is specifically for like fitness centers, and it integrates with my MindBody. So BrandBot does the emails, MindBody does the client management, signing people in, and then for the online platform, we use Kajabi, which has the email, the website, the membership stuff. Everything's Kajabi's like an all-in-one platform.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I can put a link to that too as well.
Oh yeah,
in the bottom.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's cool because you've integrated so many things to give the personal touch. And I think that that's amazing. I really do. I think that that's something that is severely lacking today, in our online space especially.
I agree. I think, 10 years ago, it was all about what can you automate? What can you automate? And then everything got so automated, and then people quit looking at the emails. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah.
God, I don't want to, but I'm taking that brick and mortar mentality to the online world. Like, I want you to know, hey, I saw that you didn't join us, because we also do live training. So I'll get on in Zoom and I'll lead a class. And if they want, the person can have their camera on, and then I can be like, hey, Susie, why don't you try this? Or, hey, have you ever thought about this? So then they get that personal touch like at a studio, but they can be at home. They don't have to have their camera, obviously. But the point of that is to maintain that community. Even though you're not coming into a studio, you get to do it online.
Yeah, that's awesome. The resources that we find from the people that are wonderful people on this show, I can't, it's amazing. It really is. I appreciate that. I appreciate you telling me that, because, other people out there, I don't know how to do this or that, or marry the two together. Kajabi's a really good platform to use. And this thing, I had never heard of Bonjour. I'd never heard of that until today.
It's great. It's a free software program rather, that I got introduced to it from actually a different mastermind I was in. Somebody else told me about it, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. And since we implemented it, that was one of the systems we implemented about a year ago. The feedback's been phenomenal. Folks love it.
That's awesome. So what are the I think most people know what the benefits of yoga is, but if you could go down, if you could tell us what you specialize in, or what your thing is, that would be good.
So I specialize more in the physical aspect of yoga. There's lots of different types of yoga. I came to yoga from a back injury. So I have a herniated disc in my low back, and I used to be really into like CrossFit, distance running, all of those really high impact, hard on your body. It's great when you're younger and everything works, but as the gray hairs get bigger and bigger, it's not so good on the body. And when I hurt my back, it was very devastating. So I found yoga, and I found the more physical kind of yoga, and that's what's helped me to keep my back pain at bay. I wish I could say that I never have back pain, but we're human, and these things, they get older. So, but what yoga has taught me are the tools to maintain my muscles and my body in such a way that it can be and move as pain-free and fluidly as possible. And so my particular type of yoga is very physical. It's like I like to call it high impact, high intensity, low impact. So you're going to burn some calories, you're going to get stronger, build mobility, of course, because it's yoga inspired, but it's a lot of body weight exercises.
And it's flexibility. Are you building flexibility as well?
Oh yeah. Like, the nature of yoga is about building. I like to say yoga was the original functional fitness. It wasn't CrossFit. This stuff's been around for thousands of years, right? And so by definition, basically every pose you're building mobility, and most people need that mobility. Let's be honest, we sit all day, and so we weren't designed to sit all day. We were designed to move, and that has direct and lasting impacts on our structure. So yoga was designed to help keep us moving. An object in motion tends to stay in motion, right? So yoga is going to build the mobility. It's also going to build some strength. And the way that I like to practice it, it also helps to build that endurance component as well.
That's really good. We all need that. I mean, I'm 50 now, so it's like, I'm not getting any younger. So
time. It's this linear thing on our plane. Time just keeps on trucking.
It keeps on ticking away. I'll tell you the truth. So, what do you have going on like right now? I mean, what is, do you have an offer or something that's going on for you right now?
Oh, sure. For your listeners, we'll have a page on my website, and you can put a link to it in the notes below. And I will invite all of your listeners to have 1 month free in our Thrive Online platform. And that's where we do have the recorded yoga inspired workouts, a whole library of it. But then every week, sometimes a couple times a week, we'll also do live virtual sessions. Or what did you said summit? Like we'll meet weekly, sometimes more, to practice together, so that if you want the real-time feedback with the teacher, or if you want to have, hey, what's a good modification, or how can I, take this to the next level, you can meet up for these live workouts. And that to me is kind of what sets sets Thrive Online apart from like a YouTube channel or even some of like the Beachbodies online and all that, because that's just a video you turn on and you never know if you're doing it right. At least with Thrive Online, you have the opportunity, and we're still small enough now that sometimes it's just you and me, sometimes it's me and a couple of people. And so it really is almost like you're getting a private at this point, because we're growing it.
That's awesome. So to everybody out there, you get a free month.
Yeah,
and that's amazing.
Us.
That's amazing. So we have the link down below. And if you want to partake in that, you just click the link and get your free month and get your feet wet in yoga, because we all need to be a little more flexible. And yeah, I'm not getting any others. So.
It happens.
So that's a good thing. Anything else going on for you right now?
So the new year's always the big year for fitness folks, right? So the big push inside the studio, we've met with the teachers, we've met with the staff on how we can incorporate this kind of natural influx. It's, if you think about it from a fitness perspective, this is kind of like the Christmas almost, right? People starting January 1, they want to do something different. So this last quarter of 19 has been all about making sure the systems that we have to welcome the new people are in place, and how do we convert it? Because just like in online, the brick and mortar, you have to have those conversion numbers make sense. And then it's not just about converting new people, because, just like on your website, if you get 100 eyes on your website, they may look at two pages each. So you've got 200 views, but how many of those views are actually buying? And so there's a lot of similarities in this online and brick and mortar, how things that you can do to convert those people, those eyes, into paying customers.
Yeah, that's good.
And
it's good information.
Those are all things, for us at least, that's very important for the high touch, that very important personalized touch. And so for your listeners, if it's in the business world, like what can you do to make your new client feel heard, seen, where you can improve that know, like, and trust factor, so that they're like, oh, I definitely want to go there. So for me, I want to go to Thrive because they know me, they know when I'm not here, they know what I want to work on. But for you and what your course is, like, this is the guy to listen to start a new business, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so what can I do as an entrepreneur to help build that trust up?
And I think that, like I've said this almost every show, because I'm blessed to have people that have a big heart for other people and that really want to help them and wants to reach out and give stuff away for people. That's really amazing. I appreciate you. I really do. And I think that, like I said, I'm extremely blessed on this show to have people with big hearts that do try to really, really help people, not just try to sell stuff. It's totally different.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially if you look at some of the really big names in online business, like I follow some of the big names, like they give away a lot of stuff. And And I know when I was an energy trader many years ago, it feels like in a whole different life. And that was a lot more like in poker. If a good trader didn't tell you his secrets, he would, when I would go to a different trading floor, I learned the systems, like how to manage it, but I was never taught how to trade. And that became something I had to learn. And as I taught other people coming up under me, I would just tell them what I knew, because that's just kind of how I am.
Right.
But I was never given that. I was never given the opportunity to be like, hey, you could check this and this and this, and this is how I do it. And so taking that into the online business or the brick and mortar, I feel like the most successful people share the most information. Like, yeah, you can find a lot of stuff out for free on YouTube, but you got to dig for it,
Mm-hmm.
And so why not be a part of that information? And then you build that client base up that loves you, and then they're going to want to spend money and pay you and be your client because they trust you.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing you mentioned, Pat Flynn, and he's outstanding right now. I used to be in the internet business mastery thing with him before I think it was before he had his leads program out. It was a long time ago, 2004 or 5, I think. That was a while ago.
Awesome.
But yeah, he is blown up because he gives so much away.
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't really have much to offer. He just did his show with other people, and then he had affiliate stuff that he would have, like Bluehost or something like that he had. But his heart was to give to people, and that's, and still is. I mean, I'm acting like he's not doing this anymore.
I agree.
But yeah, he still does that, and a lot of the big name people do that because I think this generation of entrepreneurs and the next generation coming up has a bigger heart than the ones before. And it's possible I'm wrong about this because I'm in that generation, but I just see so much giving, so much collaboration, not the competition and fighting amongst each other, trying to grab something from somebody else. It's more giving to someone else and collaborating and lifting each other up and stuff like that. Do you see that same thing?
I think that especially if you surround yourself with those people, there's still going to be the people that, oh, I don't want to share it and all that. But, you want to, you are the average of the 4 people you hang around with, right? And so if you're hanging around with the people that are every bit as loving and giving, and they want to teach you everything that they know, and in return it's all reciprocated. It's rising tides raise all ships, right? And so I agree, there is definitely a movement of collaboration. I get more so even than my generation. I'm just 10 years behind you, so I agree with that. But there's still going to be those, I'm not telling you these are my cards people, and those would be the people that I wouldn't associate with.
I've done, I think this is my 41st or 42nd, somewhere in there, interview. And I gotta say, just about every one of them was just, a fabulous person, and shared what they did and how they did it and all this other stuff. And I really appreciate that about people that come on, because I'm attracting those people, and maybe it's something I do, or maybe it's just an energy that somebody resonates with and says, oh, you know what? I'm just feeling that for some reason that I want to be on this show, And like I said, I'm just, I don't believe I'm lucky. I don't believe that. I just believe that the people that I talk to and I talk with, I resonate with, and they resonate with me. And I've made partnerships and friendships and collaborative efforts and all this stuff out of doing this. It's been amazing.
I think that it goes back to, you're putting it out there, right? And so like attracts like, and I think that's beautiful. And it also goes back to that human desire for community. And we want to work together, and we want to help make the community better. And so clearly you are attracting the right people.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. I have a group of people, and they help each other. I had someone on and created a video for me because I was in some pain and there were some things going on with my back. And she created a video for me. She teaches Tai Chi and made this whole thing for me in the group. And I was like, whoa, that's really great. And
That's awesome.
Yeah. She did a Facebook Live in the group, and just for me. I was like, wow, that was so cool.
I did that for one of the girls that's in my mastermind. She was having back pain. And so I shot her. I was like, here's one thing, just try this and see if it helps. And she couldn't. She was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that birthed a lead magnet for the online business, because it was easy for me to do. And this wasn't a professional. It's like your Facebook Live. You just turn the camera on. It wasn't a professional thing, but because of that, it birthed a whole nother lead magnet that brought in new emails, brought in new leads, brought in potential clients. And so it's all goes back to that helping each other out. And so I don't know if that leads to something else for you or for her, but I'm sure it will.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, it's really cool what we have going on here, and everybody kind of shares a different story and a different thing, where I think everybody gets value out of each show, and can take something away from it to help build their business, or help crush a limiting belief, or help them to see themselves in a different light. I think that's what we do here,
I think that one thing that, since this is specifically geared toward entrepreneurs, something that I would say that I struggle with the most, and this is where having that group of people that are there being like, come on, you can do it, is this isn't easy. Like, you can put out 3 blog posts a week, 3 YouTube videos. You can be doing all of the right things for your niche, and that may not translate to a conversion right then and there. And that was something that it's taken me a while to get. Like, when I first launched my first course, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is it. Everybody's going to love it because I know this is great content. This is going to really make a difference. And it wasn't the explosion that I had hoped it would be. And what I, had built up in my head based on all of these things that I surround myself with the podcast and all that stuff. And it took me a while that even though you build it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it'll come right then. But the beauty of the internet and the beauty of the different types of social media, like Pinterest and all that kind of stuff, is it's out there and it can be found again. And some of those first things that I created have been found. Actually, I have another relationship with another company. They found one of my very first YouTube live videos talking about some CBD from my studio. And oh my God, I'm so embarrassed of that video. I'm so embarrassed of it. But they found it and they loved it. And that's created this other business relationship. And so that would be my one, like, I guess, Rosie the Riveter for your listeners is don't give up. Even if the launch doesn't go like as banging as you thought, like keep on promoting. It's all about promoting. It's about those relationships. It's about letting people know what you have. And I don't know exactly what everyone's situation is, but you have to toot those horns. You have to do that. This is a great program. This will change your life. This will make you feel better. In my case, it'll make you feel better. It'll make you get stronger. In your case, this will help you be the entrepreneur that you've dreamed. This will help you to live the life that you want. And that sometimes I feel like can get lost because there's some really high highs and then there's some really low lows, and you got to have that support network to make the lows maybe not be so low.
It is a roller coaster. That's for sure. You can't plan on anything you can't be too far up and you can't be too far down.
Yeah.
You just can't. It's almost like a NHL goalie. Because one night you may get a shutout, the next night you're giving up 5 goals, and you got to forget both. You just do.
That's a good point. That's a good. I've only been to one hockey game because I'm a Southern girl.
Oh, okay. Up here, we had a team here for a long time that was semi-pro, and so I went a lot.
Oh, I went to one when I worked in Princeton. I got to go to there was a hockey, I guess it was minor leagues. Is it called minor leagues? I don't know. Semi-pro.
Yep. Minor leagues. Yeah.
I got to go to one of those, and it was a lot of fun. It was very educational. But yeah, Tennessee, we don't get much snow.
No, but you have the Nashville Predators.
We do. I've honestly never seen the Preds. I should go see the Predators.
Yeah, it's just a thing. But I mean, it was just the thing is, you just have to have a short memory.
Yeah,
it's pretty much what it is. Either good or bad, though.
I agree.
You should get a great result, and all of a sudden you expect the great result all the time, and that doesn't necessarily happen.
And that translates not just to your online business, but in life in general. Like the folks that hold on to the bad stuff, that just leads to resentment and bitterness. And that same thing can happen here in the online and the entrepreneurial world. Like, yeah, no, that didn't work. All right, that one didn't work. I'm going to go try this and this and this and this and this. And then finally something is freaking going to work. And I don't know what it is. It's going to be different for all of us. Right. And so the point is, you just keep on shooting. You just keep on trying. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up. I like that. This has been a good conversation. And do you have anything to add? Okay, I've got a good question here.
Sure.
Anything, because you do brick and mortar too, so that's actually really cool. What would your advice be to someone just starting out as an entrepreneur?
For brick and mortar or online, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. I think we'll go with brick and mortar first, because I think that perspective is not on here enough.
Okay. So I would say focus on doing the stuff that you love to do. Focus on that. And then every day do something that you don't necessarily like to do. Like for me, I hate balancing the books. Hate the books. But it's something like QuickBooks Online, you have to do those things. And so to keep me motivated in the doldrums of small business ownership, I made sure to do something that I love to do, because there's a reason why I'm not working for somebody else, right? Like there's a reason why you don't want to. And, all of your listeners, they want to do their own thing. So make sure you're feeding that fire, that thing that it is you want to do. But, and this is, I'm guilty of it. Like, you can't neglect the things that you don't want to do. The beauty of entrepreneurship is you can do exactly what it is you want to do. But the crappy thing about entrepreneurship, especially if you're a solopreneur, is like, if you don't do the other thing, it's not getting done. And so especially at first, if the budget's low and all that kind of stuff, where you have to do your own books, where you have to do all this, like, I am terrible with technology, but I have to do it because nobody else is doing it, like, do something you love every day, because that's going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you believing in the process, if you will, and then spend a little bit of time on something you don't love. And that hopefully will help balance it out.
Yeah. Then you'll be happy and sad at the same time.
Hopefully the happies, hopefully they outweigh the sads. I don't know.
I'm just kidding. No, this has been a really good conversation. I appreciate you being on today. You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Thank you so much for having me, Jim. This has been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I will see you next time.